Hello, my brothers. How you doing? My sisters out there, come on in. Welcome to a new week. That's right, this is the beginning of a new week. Come on in. How you doing, Sister Deborah D. Scott? I see you. John Hancock down there. How you doing, sister? Come on in. Welcome, brothers and sisters out there. This is another show that I'm not going to keep you that long tonight. I'm going to jump right into it short. I'm going to get a few more people to jump in, and I'm going to really dive into this topic, and I hope that you can get something out of it. It's something that you really need to know, my brothers and sisters. This is about some red flags when it comes to what you used to do. So come on in. I know some of you saying, what do you mean, Tony, about what you used to do? Just exercise a little patience, my brother. Exercise a little patience, my sister. I'm about to get into it. How you doing, Mother dear? I see your John Hancock down there. Come on in, brothers. Come on in, sisters. Come on in, so we could jump on this content, so I can leave it with you. And you can do it, then you can get into more family time or whatever. Because I know some of you all wait to the 8 o'clock p.m. So some of your favorite show might be coming on. So I'm going to try to go ahead and get you to your favorite show in a short period of time. How you doing, my little sister Vanessa? Your John Hancock down there. Come on in, brothers. Come on in, sisters. How you doing? And as my normal spiel, I'm going to introduce myself. As you know, my brother and sister, if you have never been here before, I'm introducing myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships, my brother and sister. I talk about relationship basically pertaining to a man and a woman from a biblical standpoint or perspective. What do I mean by that? I believe that God created a relationship with himself and a man first. Then he created a relationship with himself and a woman, and then he brought the man and the woman together. And at that point, this particular man named Adam, he said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call her woman because she came from man. He said that in the presence of God Almighty. So that's what I believe in. If you don't believe in the concept of a relationship of a man and a woman from a biblical standpoint, you have a choice. You don't have to believe. You got a free will, my brother. You have a free will, my sister. But I encourage you, if you choose to, you can stay here. Maybe you can get something out of what I'm talking about. But if not, I'm glad I introduced myself so you know who I am. So with that said, my brother and sister, we're about to get into the content tonight. The content is called Pullback. Why you stop doing what you used to do. Again, it's called pullback. And some of you saying, Tony, what does pullback mean? Some of you have an idea what pullback is, but I'm going to expound that to you shortly. Not explain it, but I'm going to expound it to you. Again, the topic is pullback. Why you stop doing what you used to do. Now, some of you brothers and sisters, you might have experienced this before. You might have even done it. Hope you have not done. But the topic we're going to dig into right now is pullback. Why you stop doing what you used to do. Now, what does pullback mean? According to the dictionary, pullback is defined as withdraw, hold back, recede, draw back, or reduction. That's what it means. How you doing, sister Val Strong? How you doing, sister? That's what pullback means. For those of you that are coming in, tonight's topic is pullback. Why you stop doing what you're doing. Now, my brother and sister, when it comes to a relationship, you shouldn't stay in the same way you did when you first met that woman, brother, or sister, when you first met that man. You should not stop at that position. Some people say whatever you did to get somebody, you need to do it. No, I say that's wrong. Whatever you did to secure the relationship, my brother, sister, you don't stop right there. You're gonna do one or two things. You either going to increase or you're going to decrease. So what I'm telling you tonight, my brother and sister, when it comes to a relationship, you should continue to grow. Don't stay in a stagnant position. You need to continue to grow. Now, you have to be like a farmer, my brother. You have to be like a farmer, my sister. What I'm talking about? I'm talking about a person that cultivate. And if you get this concept, cultivate actually means to break up. It's like breaking up soil. And when you break up soil, you are doing something. You're preparing to sow or plant. So you sow and then you reap. That's the concept. So my brother and sister, when it comes to a relationship, you should be sowing seeds into the relationship so you can get a harvest. If you don't sow no seeds into a relationship, you're not going to get nothing. And that's basically how a farmer does it. A farmer has to plant a seed in order to get a crop. And it's the same concept, my brother and sister. When you want the relationship to grow, you got to continue to dig and you got to continue to plant seed for a harvest to come in. So if you don't put no effort into it, you're not going to get nothing out of it. And the same thing too, if you are an investor, like if you work on Wall Street or something like that, if you want to get some type of profit, if any of you know anything about Wall Street, how you doing, Sister Flo? If you know anything about Wall Street, those are investors. You know what I mean? They invest into a product and they looking to get a return. They're not investing just to be investing to throw away nothing, no money. And the same thing to my brothers and sisters when it comes to a relationship. You want to invest in something so you can get a return. You're not just in a relationship just to be playing around. You want a return back on what you're doing. But my brother and sister, some of you, hopefully I'm not talking to some of you, but this in general, I said you will notice that your relationship had changed. At the beginning, when your relationship was all strong and everything, you more than likely had the attitude of we, us, and our. So you had that concept. How you doing, Sister Twyla? You had that concept of we, us, and our. But something happened, and then the concept is either came from the person that you're dealing with or you, where the concept started being me, myself, and I. So this is the critical point, my brother and sister, when the relationship changes from we, us, and our, which is a given type of attitude, to me, myself, and I, which is a selfish attitude. Now, it was something that triggered it. So I'm going to get into some signs or some red flags about the pullback. Now, the signs of a relationship that I'm about to talk about, I did a little research, and I came upon this interesting thing that this lady named Julia Malakoff came up with. It's some signs or red flags that she came up with, or I'm going to call it the pullback. Now, my brothers and sisters, you know your relationship, everything that I'm about to list is something that you or that person is currently doing now that you didn't used to, okay? So this is a flip of the coin. Now you're on the back side of the coin. So the front side, you used to do something, but now you or that mate are not doing it. So here are some red flags that a pullback is taking place. Number one, you suddenly start spending more time with your family or friends, or he or she starts spending more time with his family and friends. Whereas at the beginning, on the head side of the coin, you brother and you sister, you were spending a whole bunch of time together, but something happened. And now one of you, or even both of you, start spending more time with your family and friend because it coming to a point where you're not still planning a relationship. So it start decreasing and it's going to start getting worse. So that's number one. You suddenly start spending more time with your family and friend. Number two, you both become extremely agreeable. Just check that out now. When the relationship was strong, how you doing, Sister Taylor? When the relationship was strong, you might say, I disagree with that, or I agree with that, but it was somewhat peaceable. But this strange phenomenon happened. You both become extremely agreeable. You know why you become extremely agreeable? Because you don't care no more. It's just like if any of you have seen Gone with the Wind, there was this classic scene Clark Gable told Vivian Leigh. If any of you all remember Gone with the Wind, there was this one thing that Clark Gable said when he was walking out the door, when he turned to Vivian Leigh And he said this, frankly, dear, I don't give a damn. That's exactly what he said. So you all get to the point where you don't care what's going on. So you said, whatever you say, I go with it. So you both start getting agreeable. That's a red flag that there's a pullback going on. Number 3, when something major happens, you're not the first person that your mate tell or you tell your mate. Some critical information will come, but you all get to the point where you're not really talking, so you're not sharing information. So if you're not talking, not sharing information, somebody's gonna get the word to you or your mate, and then you're gonna ask your mate, did you know about that? And your mate probably say, yeah, I knew about it, and it could be something major. So this is a part of your communication is breaking down. This is one of the red flags that there's a pullback going on in a relationship. Number 4, your boredom echoes outside of your relationship. You get to the point, my brother and sister, where you could even be in the same house, but brother, you doing your thing, or sister, you doing your thing, and you bored with one another. Some of the things that you used to do together as we, us, and our, it comes down in your house where it's me, myself, and I. You don't care what he or she doing, long as he or she don't bother me or doesn't say anything to me. So that's what you start doing. Number 5, you always have to, how you doing, Sister Keisha? You always have to repeat yourself. What does that mean? That means that the person is not listening to you no more. That means that this person has started tuning you out. You either start tuning the person out or that person start tuning you out. And you will find yourself saying this. What did you say? What did you call? You ain't paying that person attention. So this is the pullback. Whereas you was a active listener in your relationship, now you don't care what he or she say, because to you it don't matter no more. So this is one of the red flags when there's a pullback in the relationship. Number 6, it gets so bad, and I'm not going to go into that Lenny Williams song, but it gets so bad, it gets so bad that you're no longer doing your active things together. Thing that you used to actively do together, like you might have a date night, you may go on trips, you might take movies and all that. That comes to a point where it's dead. It comes down to it has died. Number 7, one or both of you won't go to therapy. That might be one of you that might want to take a last ditch effort to save the relationship, but one of you don't want to go to therapy. Because you threw your hands up and you said, where you go, you the one who need the therapy. Or it might get to the point where neither one of you want to go to therapy. Number 8, you avoid going home. You could be at your job. If it's not your job, you could be somewhere else, but you don't want to go home. That's the last place you want to go. And sometimes it gets so bad that you want to stop at a bar and you start drinking just to go home. When you pull up, you see your mate car there in the driveway or wherever it's at, and you say, oh, he or she home. Oh my goodness, he or she home, and I don't want to say nothing. And some of you, when you get in the house, sometimes whoever in the house, time you put your one foot in before you put the other foot, one foot in, and before you put the other foot in, you got a man or a woman start yapping before you come in the house. Or you could walk into wintertime. And it could be wintertime in your home, but it's summertime on the outside. What do I mean by that? When you walk into the home, it's cold as ice. There's no hello, how you doing, or nothing like that. That's telling you that it's a pullback in the relationship. So I'm sorry, my brothers and sisters. So that's what's going on. You avoid going home. Or when you do go home, you want to go home when they sleep. Or you go home and you hope that he or she is at work. Or you might just don't go home at all. You might just get a hotel room or whatever, and you, just because you don't want to see that person. That is a part of pullback. Number 9, you feel alone even when you're together. You all are in the same environment, meaning the same home, or you could even go out as a couple, but you still by yourself. That connection has died because you haven't been planted. Meaning you haven't sold, so therefore you're not going to weep because you're not putting no type of investment into the relationship. So you feel alone, even when the person is there with you. Number 10, you wonder if you can do better. This when these thoughts start coming. You look at your mate and you say, why did I? why am I still here with that man? Why am I here still with this woman? I could do better. Or matter of fact, I could do all better by myself. When you start thinking like that, the pullback is in full effect. So you stop doing what you're doing. Number 12, you don't kiss like you mean it. You used to kiss. How you doing, Sister Sherry? You used to kiss passionately, but you won't kiss at all. You won't kiss that person at all. As a matter of fact, some of you be thinking, I know what you can kiss. That's what some of you start thinking about your mate. Instead of the mate kissing you on the lip, you in your mind you say, no, you ain't gonna kiss me on the lip, but I know something you can kiss with the sun don't shine. That's how bad some of it started happening for some of you brothers and sisters. Number 12, I believe, yeah. You spend more time with your kids than with your partner. So if you have children, whereas you used to prioritize your time, if you believe in the Lord, you knew the priority thing. It was the Lord, the husband or the wife, then the children. But now it's the Lord, the children, and then that person, and then it's the mama, dad, the sister, brother, everybody, and that person at the back end of it. So you don't want to spend no quality time with your mate no more. So you're going to invest all your time in your children, okay? That's another sign of a pullback. Number 13, bad to say, but some of you start eating unhealthy, you start gaining weight. This not only for women, but it go for men. You start gaining weight because you could have been active with your mate. So now you don't care what your mate think of you. So you used to be slim and trim. Now you're looking like a big can of busted Pillsbury biscuit can. That's what it could come down to. Number 14, you avoid spending time alone together. Again, you start avoiding spending time alone together. You would rather have guests over your house. You would rather have other people over your house to avoid that time, that solo time with that person, because it's ice winter time anyway. So you want somebody in there so you could have some type of conversation with that person other than your mate. Or better yet, you go to your telephone and start talking to someone. You get on the internet, you get on Facebook or whatever it is, you don't want to spend no time alone with that person. Number 15, when you really start pulling back, you start noticing their flaws more often than their strength. So that means that you get into a position where you want to criticize your mate a lot. Whereas your mate was good as gold, but now your mate ain't got nothing going on. You criticize him or her openly. You just look at them, you snore at them, and all that kind of stuff, and you just blast them for whatever. It's something that you seen, but you didn't want to say, but now you don't care about his or her feelings, so you let it rip, and you tell them just how you feel about them. Number 16, you're not talking about the future anymore. You're not talking about, whereas you were in the mindset of me, myself, and I, and you used to talk about what we're going to do together, where we're going to be at in X amount of time and stuff like that. You don't even talk about the future no more. You definitely don't talk about the present, and you regret the past. You wondering, why did I get with this person anyway? So all future talks are off. You know why all future talks are off? Because you have started pulling back. And you stop doing what you're doing. Number 17, this is a big one too, my brothers and sisters. When it comes to a pullback, I'm talking to you, married brothers and sisters, something is up with the sex life. A lot of time, my brother and sister, it's going to go one or two ways. One way, you might not be talking or nothing like that. You might stay in the same house. But the only thing some of you have in common is just sex with your mate. That's the only thing. You be sleeping in another bed. So what happens? Since you ain't got no communication, you don't talk or nothing. So especially if you're not seeing no one else on the outside, then that sexual urge hit you, right? So you might be in another room, and your mate be in his or her room, and then one of you get up and your mate, or you hear the doorknob turning late at night or early in the morning, and he or she just come get in the bed, and you know what time it is. It's time to give him or her to get your medicine. So you brother, you sister, you go to your mate's room just to get your medicine, And when you get your medicine, I'm talking about your sexual medicine, then you get up and go to bed. Or you might stay in there overnight because you got your medicine, but you still don't say nothing. You go in there and you have passionless. Guess what I'm saying? Passionless sex. You have animalistic sex. Like when you look at TV, there's no romance or nothing. When you notice how animals have sex, then the male line don't say nothing. He don't say, excuse, he don't say, do you want to do the him? No foreplay or nothing. Those animals, they just go at it. And once they finish, they disengage. Look at Sister Flo said, Marvin Gaye. They disengage. And that's how some of you brothers and sisters do when you pull back. The only thing that you got in common is your sexual appetite. Then it goes to the far left. It's when there's no sex at all. There's no sex at all. You, brother, and you, sister, like I have told you, brother and sister, before, a lot of time before a man and woman get married, if you all know, I always said that most of the time, a man and a woman had sex before they got married. And we talk about the US of A. Most of the time. So just because you see a lady with a white dress on, or you see a man with a white tux, that don't mean they virgin. Most people that got married, they had sex before. And most people that have sex before, they was really doing something. They were doing triple backflip, swinging from the chandeliers and everything. But when you start pulling back in a relationship, normally the sex life, it goes back down to zero. You don't want you don't want to touch that person. You look at them and they turn you off. And that's when a lot of times somebody start going out the back door because they're going to go get their medicine somewhere else. They don't want to get the medicine at their house no more because everything is over. And then another thing that happens in the relation to my brother and sister, you start losing hair. You might notice that because it could be a stressful time in your life when the pullback comes. It could be a stressful time. So some of you sisters, you might notice that you're losing your hair. Some of you brothers, you might start getting, your hair might start receding. As far as me, if Cinderella and I was going through a issue, but we're not going through no issue, you could look at me and say, Tony, you and Cinderella must have really had something going on because you ain't got no hair on your head. She done made you lose all your hair. No, homie, she ain't make me lose my hair. Or home girl, she ain't make me lose my hair. I shave my head every day. We ain't talk about me and Cinderella anyway. Now, another thing, 19, you only go on group dates. You don't go exclusively together. If you go on a date, you go as a group and you be faking in front of people. That's what you do. You fake in front of people. You don't have nothing to say at home, but you act lovey-dovey in front of other people. But you know you ain't got nothing going on. That's another sign of the pullback. And the final sign of a pullback, your gut is telling you something is up. You see the writing on the wall. You see all the writing on the wall that it's over. It's over now. But you don't want to face it. And if you don't face it, you avoiding that elephant in the room. And eventually, let me tell you something, my brother and sister. If you get to the point where your gut is telling you something is up, all these signs that I have just expounded, not explained to you, these are sure signs that the pullback in effect. Why you stop doing what you used to do. These are some signs. And to wrap it all up, when it comes to love, my brother and sister, if your love has gone dead, and this is a sign. If you don't have this sign as far as loving your mate, and this is for men and women universal, but we talk about the relationship between a man and a woman, as it said in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, at 4 through 7. Again, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, 4 through 7. Finally, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, 4 through 7, it said this. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others, especially your mate. It is not self-seeking, me, myself, and I. It is not easily angered. That means that you don't mind going home to see your mate, or if your mate say something, you just go blow it. It keeps no record of wrongdoing. You don't look at your mate faults. You let it slide. You let a lot of that stuff slide. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoice with the truth. It is always protect. Love always protect. Some of you, brother, when you start loving your woman, you don't care if she get hit by a Mack truck. It always trust, it always hope, and always preserve. You understand that, my brother and sister? So I hope that you all not letting the red flags get you in a position where you want to walk out of your relationship. So if you see any of these things that I just went over, and I can tell you, this young lady named Julia Malakoff, she came up with this list, but I just expound more about it. I didn't explain, I just expound more. So you take it, my brother and sister, and your relationship can grow. All you have to do is work at it. You have to put some work in, cultivate the relationship, plant those love seeds in the relationship, and you will get a harvest, my brother. You will get a harvest, my sister. And with that said, my brother and sister, I love you. I love you. I love you. I hope that you all have a good night. I love you, brothers. I love you, sister. Thank you all so much for watching this particular broadcast. You all have a good night. Peace out.